And that's kind of now this bot lane in particular, both fresh rookies trying to leave their mark on their organization and as well on the Rift in the PCS as we load on into Champion Select. Liyab going to be on your blue side, Alpha on the red. We're going to start things off here with a Kog'Maw ban coming out from Liyab.
Yeah, kind of unconventional, but the AP Cog mid has been pretty devastating. Not necessarily a Chen 9 champ, as we mentioned. The mid jungle of Alpha do love their volatility, or rather did love their volatility before your River got moved to a sub position. And I'm thinking, do we see Liyab maybe trim out that jungle role, or do they let World 6 have pick of the litter, considering he's more of your utility, supportive kind of player? I think Trundle will be a massive priority between Doidoi and World 6 this game.
Yeah, Doidoi has put a lot of priority on getting that champ early on during some of these drafts for Liyab, and has had mixed results when it comes to his performance. I think more or less last week, though, when we did see a lose out to Alpha, we also saw some of the communication issues pop up. In particular, there was losing lanes. You guys can actually watch some of this back on the Wards documentary that Liyab put out earlier this week, where, you know, Kanji was calling for ganks toward his lane when he's going up against a 3-0 Ornn. It's going to be near impossible to kill a matchup like that, and it drew resources away from possible winning matchups of Liyab. So the question is, has that been solved in the course of a week, or are we going to see some of those lingering effects as we see Set banned as well alongside the Kalista, and then for Alpha, getting rid of some of those mid laner options being that Karma, Zoe, and as well as Mocha's Bard.
Yeah, the Kalista ban does suggest that we see some of these more scaling-focused AD carries being locked in. Ashe, you know, that Ashe Ezreal handshake we'd seen all day, perhaps gonna be making another appearance here, or perhaps Aphelios will rear his ugly head for not the first time in the PCS Summer 2020.
Well, there it goes. It is going to get locked in instantly, so opting into that kind of neutralized matchup, but still being able to carry on into the later part of the game. So we'll see now Wei Lun with this in his hands. We'll see how that goes. And for World 6, all right, getting a little bit aggressive here with a Graves getting locked in. We mentioned, oh, maybe we'll see a little bit of utility. Nope, not going to be the case. Go ahead and go with the flavor of the month that has been the Graves pickup.
Nice, you have ranged Olaf on your team now, alongside an AD carry that can't necessarily play the lane phase against a champion that he should actually beat out. This Thresh lock-in is, you know, about as safe as a blind pick support as you possibly can get. And I think that as well just means the bot lane is a little bit difficult to gank, because you've disengage, you have hard engage, and you have to be really careful if you're Alpha, just of the fact that there's so much on-demand fight potential coming out of this Liyab bot side.
Oh baby, here we go. Rex gonna go ahead and get his Twisted Fate getting locked in. It's the infamous split push Twisted Fate of Rex, as we did see the victory come through for Liyab with a little bit more of that PvE play style, and, you know, got MVP. We'll have fun fact for you. Liyab as a whole, the team wasn't actually too happy Rex got MVP, considering he had such a low kill participation, but it ended up working out. We'll see whether or not he is able to do it once again. For Alpha, though, Chen 9 opting on something that he doesn't necessarily need to carry with, instead can look to help out onto skirmishes around World 6 in the jungle with this Galio.
Yeah, need a lot of aggressive positioning from World 6 to really make this pick worth it. I like it though, because you can follow the TF, you can actually find a lot more of utility when it comes to fighting this one out. Gonna need to run the Ultimate Hunter or something similar in that regard though, if you're gonna bounce and juggle some of these longer cooldowns on the Gate, on the Destiny, on the Heroic Entrance.
Alright, so now heading into your second round of bans though. For Liyab, still need to show what they want to run into the jungle, as well as what they want to run top lane for Kanji, as the Lee Sin's going to be banned out here by Alpha, and then the Camille actually being banned out on the side of Liyab away from Bush.
So here, if you're Alpha, you do kind of prioritize the Ornn top lane here, just because you need some magic damage up there, otherwise whoever Liyab picks for top lane can just pick up Ninja Tabi, maybe a Sunfire Cape, or whatever kind of defensive itemization their top laner does trend towards, and honestly just have a field day in that regard. I do want to comment on the fact that Rex did rock the TF last time these two giants did clash. I say giants clash at the bottom of the standings, but still, Alpha actually ahead of HKA now. So, yeah. The TF, if built AP, does take a while to come online, and I think that will give Alpha a lot of early game breathing room.
And this is kind of a test here for the side of Liyab. They went up against this Ornn the last time these two teams faced, only just last week, and we saw what ended up happening was Bush was able to get a kill with the help alongside Your River in the jungle, and then became unkillable. And it drew a lot of attention from Liyab when Doidoika went elsewhere on the map. But this time around, though, gonna have the Trundle once again. We'll see whether or not he wants to try and pay a visit early on in the lane phase to maybe try and get Kanji ahead. And speaking of Kanji, we still don't know what he's going to pick up here and what his options are going to be. We've yet to see him really play anything like a tank, but instead he wants to possibly go for this Aatrox.
Yeah, I was theorizing maybe we see Jace got some of these more proficient split push centric kind of carry tops. Not a huge fan of this champ. If you get in melee range of the Graves or the Aphelios, they will just kill you, to say nothing of the Ornn and Galio making your life hell to begin with anyway. I like the Trundle. It drains the stats of the Ornn and makes him kind of a legitimate gank threat, but you can't overforce, otherwise you're just going to be useless, as you touched on Liyab exploring in their documentary earlier this week.
And for Alpha here as well, they've yet to show their support, and in response to that Thresh, they say, all right, we'll bring out some hooks ourselves, have some heavy engage to go on toward Dawn, or possibly Rex if he does decide to jump on in, or look to try and stop that Aatrox in his tracks with the Nautilus being locked in.
Still weirds me out that Woody, one single player, is responsible for 5 of those 7 Nautilus wins. To
be fair, though, you got to remember who else has been playing the Nautilus. It has been, you know, your son, and then Delulu as well.
You're a bad man, Opal.
I'm not.
You're a terrible father. Stop saying such things about your son.
Briz, don't be making fun of our player names, all right? We're going to go ahead and load on into the Rift. Again, Liyab taking on Alpha for Liyab. This is a much-needed bounce back, especially if they want to have a shot toward making it into playoffs. They currently sit on the edge of the elimination there, currently in 9th, and need to be able to take wins off teams like Alpha as well as Berjaya if they want to even have a shot at making it into the postseason. Alpha, fresh face in the form of World Sixture. He's been around the LPL, but this is his first venture into the PCS, of course, and we'll see whether or not that change of identity will either be a benefit or downfall for Alpha Esports as we go ahead and load on to the Rift for our 3rd game of the night.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
And back we go. I'll be frank, was not expecting to have to be able to cast World 6 in the PCS. Wasn't expecting to cast him anytime soon. You know, it's been
kind of disappeared off the face of the earth.
Yeah,
after his,
you know,
LPL ventures.
Yeah, you know, he was in the rotating door that was OMG's jungle, which was shared, I think, during the main season he played, which I think was back in 2018. Played a little bit last year as well, but not a whole lot. He was sharing time primarily with Mountain, who's now currently the coach for Machi. So maybe a little bit of reunion.
Former franchise player of AHQ, I want to say. Very, very prominent jungler in the region as a whole.
Did have a stint, though, in the LPL with OMG
yes.
for a split second there, for about a split. So for World 6, it's kind of this is very much a trial by fire. You're coming into what was a matchup that the team absolutely dominated, and now you have the ability to see whether or not you're going to see maybe possibly heavy action here in the bot lane as your son just walks forward into the brush up against the Thresh.
Yeah, and so you're seeing the sweeper the sweeper trinket just come out from both supports here. Once you get bush control as either Thresh or Nautilus, you don't cede it for the rest of lane phase. It lets you get that shove, it lets you get the harass down, and it lets you just push yourselves into a winning lane state. Speaking of lane states, I want to touch on these two comps, because Liyab, again, trending away from the easy-to-execute 5v5s, and instead just going for these 1-3-1 kind of compositions that, while being fairly rewarding if you can pull them off, do require you to be very astute in the kind of fights that you are taking.
And considering, too, like, when we talked to Cabbage last week, he mentioned that they could always fall back to the easy comps, and I have to question, when are you going to start doing that? Because it gives, again, a lot of experience to some of this younger squad, and if they are able to execute it, it's great experience, but you do have to think about, you know, setting your expectations to at least try and make playoffs and not expecting to experiment for the entire split and then hope to make playoffs.
Yeah, just looking at the fact that Alpha have a pretty clean team fight. Oh, actually a bit of an invade here. No Galio ult yet. Of course, he's level 3.
Yeah, so the one opportunity, Doidoi might actually have the chance to do it up against the Graves. Decides to go for it. Hook, though, misses out from Mocha. Instantly responded by your son, but the level 2, level 3 advantage actually coming through for Liyab here is able to keep them just fine as they have built up a pretty massive wave to crash into the tower.
Yeah, Nautilus and Thresh both very squishy, especially if one of them does miss their initial hook. Of course, both have very easy ways of proccing the Aftershock anyway, Naut with the passive and Thresh with the E, but it does leave them fairly vulnerable to eating Harass, eating Coke, and that's why you see the AD carry's health bars are untouched, but the supports are looking a little bit suspect.
Did like this, though, from the bot lane of Liyab. They decided to try and get an advantage early. They were able to crash a decent wave, and that helps allow Doidoi get some scuttle control. Even though World 6 is on the top side of the map, still gives him that safety, and not a bad start, considering Doidoi is actually able to secure both scuttles. We'll see, though, here in mid lane, Rex doesn't get the flash out in time. Does force it out finally, but isn't going to get taken down here as World 6 makes his first appearance in a lane.
So I would actually like to mention that, as you said, the wave crash bot, there was Liyab just getting a big lead there, and that is slightly concerning to me, because the reason you introduced World 6 to the roster is so you can play around the side lanes more, so you can facilitate the team more, while also drafting your star mid laner Galio to, again, just hammer home that this is no longer the duo queue smurfing on everyone, this is a team, and yet the team, for the moment, is actually letting them down.
Oh, you also have to consider, you know, who used to play like with World 6 when he first made his debut. He had very confident bot laners back in the LPL for a couple of the splits that he was playing, and that did allow him to play more or less toward the top and mid-section of the map. This time around, though, it's a fresh rookie in that bot lane. Sure, he's going up against a fresh rookie, and you can see World 6, he's not even going to pay attention to it. He's saying, all right, I'm going to try and make something happen here in the mid lane. Your son is also going to go ahead and try and go for a roam, but you do see that Liyab kind of have a read on this and are able to at least have an idea of what Alpha are trying to do.
Yeah, Alpha, good rotations as a unit now. A little bit better than what we were seeing before. Your son seems to be on more of the same page as World 6 relative to your River already, but at the same time, there's been no explosive early game, no successful first blood, yes, a solid gank, but none of that boom, bam, boom, in your face kind of aggression we were expecting to see from this Alpha lineup.
And now, back we go as Doidoi was wanting to try and get some pressure here. Bot lane, though, has been pushed in pretty heavily by Alpha. It does mean that Liao's bot lane is going to be a little bit late to respond. Rex does have level 6, so you would like to see him try and answer, but it's very hard when you go up against Galio. We saw what happened during our first game of the day and how easy it is to collapse, but that doesn't stop Doidoi. Goes on over the wall. It's going to be a 50-50 smite. Who's going to end up getting it in his favor? It does go on over to World 6, and Doidoi nowhere to run. That's first blood going on over to the Graves.
Yeah, Smite comes through, the Galio ult to follow, and it's a really bad situation for the Trundle to get out of. First straight going in pocket of Alpha there, that was the early play we wanted to make, and by the way, Opal, we are already more than 25% up.
Oh, jeez. World 6 making his appearance once again, known as he picks up his second kill here in mid lane with a nice setup coming out from Gen 9.
Yeah, that was clean, but yeah, as I said, we're already 25% of the way through the total duration of the last time these two teams met.
Yeah, and already Alpha have been able to find themselves a decent advantage, picking up the Dragon as well as those 2 kills. Meanwhile, top side of the map, we didn't I don't even know why we went up to the top
Honey
side of the map.
fruit? Honey fruit.
Honey fruit in the replay, but we haven't seen anything of this top lane. We haven't even mentioned it. It's just Kanji just kind of going toe-to-toe here with Bush. We haven't seen him really be able to do a whole lot, and sure, Doidoi's been focused more onto the bot side of the map, but it's been relatively quiet on the top half.
Yeah, credit to Kanji for actually just scaling up in this lane. Liyab do have a very valid win condition in the 1-3-1 situation if the Aatrox can get rolling. The main concern I have is that Aatrox will never find backline access, and as we mentioned back in Champ Select, if you're ever in a position to cast onto the Aphelios or onto the Graves, it means they're in position to just blow you up right back.
There you go. For Alpha now, you're only able to pick up about a 500 gold lead, mainly because of the CS difference down in bot, is Mocha looking for a roam. He's going to get caught out here, though, immediately, and World 6 not afraid to pull that trigger and ends up just exploding the Thresh, but now response comes out from Kanji, able to find a shutdown. Teleport also comes out from Bush, a little bit late to the party. Call the Forge God is available if they want to try and go for a possible fight here. Yasan, though, gets the engage.
Hook.
Kanji maybe a little bit too far forward, but now Doidoi flashing on forward himself, wants to try and lock down Yasan. Sure, that's the double knock-up. He doesn't even care about Wei Lun. Wei Lun's free hitting you at this point, Doidoi. He trades 1 for 1. Now Bush, though, has to flash away. Gold card, though, will follow. Chen 9 wants to join in onto the fight. Has a big Galio, but they're able to avoid the taunt. Rex, gold card, back again onto Wei Lun. Kanji not able to find the knock-up. Not close enough to the Aphelios. In the end, it will be the 2 for 1 as the Moonlight Visual doesn't find its mark.
Yeah, heroic entrance still on cooldown from that Dragon Skirmish. Alpha, they try to pull it back. Unfortunately, World 6 gets shut down. Bush TP's in only to get executed as well. And Liyab, they turn that fight on its head and surprisingly walk away with it.
There you go. For Liyab, that's a nice response in their favor. You do see, though, in your picture-in-picture, that is going to be even more action toward the top side of the map, as Liyab are not relenting of trying to maybe try and shut down Wei Lun early.
Yeah, this was just pretty clean teamfight execution as a whole. Just good skirmishing. Bush does his best to hold the attention of everyone else. Leading up to that, though, you did see the Galio peel off and start to go back to mid before the team said, actually, let's turn this around. And by the time he does show up, it's already a pretty sticky situation for Alpha to navigate.
Oh, your son, he ends up hooking in onto the wall, but in comes that Galio ultimate. Rex comes nearby, has that gold card. Wei Lun on the backside has to deal with this Aatrox, and Kanji starting to get big on this Aatrox from the top lane. Does get taken down, though. Shutdown goes on over to Chen 9. Bush on the front line, able to interrupt his Mocha, limping away with barely any HP. And it will be a 1 for 1, but Rift Herald did go in favor of Alpha.
Yeah, Alpha getting that Rift Herald, but losing a little bit in terms of momentum as a result of that. You saw Chen 9 just ult straight in, miss that ult, miss every spell. The Galio basically a cannon minion at that point. At the same time, though, they did well to get this. They did well to bounce back after a lost teamfight topside. And as well as that, you're now seeing Liyab's communication maybe starting to fall apart just a little bit as this fight did split fairly heavily.
We'll note, though, that this is going to be one of the first times we've seen Kanji actually start to pick up a decent amount of kills, and Aatrox can get pretty scary himself once he's able to get on the board, especially this early with 2 kills and 2 assists, as well as the shutdown goal.
Yeah, the thing about the Aatrox, though, is that he needs to do that in order to really flourish. A lot of the criticisms we had of this champ is the fact that, you know, if you don't get big, you just get laughed at. You get steamrolled. You get face rolled in a team fight, and it's really difficult to navigate that. However, 4 kill contributions at the 11-minute mark and a fairly hefty amount of farm under his belt means that perhaps we will see Kanji able to not only do a number in the side lane, but also meaningfully contribute towards some of these bigger skirmishes.
And during some of these skirmishes, too, we've now been able to see why this Galio pick is kind of nice here for Alpha. It's able to answer much of the skirmishes that are being trying to be forced here on the side of Liyab, with the fact that you are running Rex. And we'll see now as that's going to be the Mountain Drake spawning. Alpha already trying to set that up. Bot lane pressure has been exerted, but in comes that mid lane call. The Forge God onto Rex as he's able to avoid the damage from Wei Lun, as well as he's all the way down in bot lane.
Mocha.
Meanwhile, though, beautiful hook comes out from Mocha, though, able to find the target onto World 6, but it's still not enough damage.
Kanji!
Finally, though, Kanji on the front line. He gets the reset finally procced on his ultimate, looking maybe for the dive, not pulling the trigger, but there you go. Liyab able to strike here in mid lane after the aggression being shown from Alpha.
Yeah, the Aatrox comes in with the World Ender, comes in to seal the deal there in favor of Liyab, and they turn it around. The threaded hook from Mocha that you rightfully called out really did send this team towards a teamfight victory and towards a Drake secure.
And there you go. It's going to be the first dragon on the board here for Liyab. Sure, Rex has been the main target here of Alpha, it seems, as gets knocked up, taunted, but able to get himself back to safety, and a nice turnaround coming out from Liyab.
So much better of an early game relative to the last time these two teams met. Chen 9 betraying World 6 there. The flash over the hook so the Graves gets pulled back in. Kind of tragic, but welcome to the team, World 6.
Unfortunately, the chaos, maybe he's not expecting it himself, but for Liyab, hell, this was a team that took you down in record time when it comes to the PCS Summer Split. You're now actually looking to be slightly ahead at the moment. And, you know, Kanji, this is the first time we've seen him actually come online. Maybe, you know, he played a bit of Aatrox when he was back in a mid lane. And so far, it's been paying off decently well, now sitting 3-1-3.
Unsure of how to feel about the Aphelios itemization right now. Here's a gank from the TF.
TF comes out. Rex is able to get that gold card down. Your son, fortunately, is going to get hooked once again by Mocha. You see World 6 trying to turn around that fight, but unfortunately, not enough damage coming out just yet from Wei Lun on this Aphelios, actually going double cloak just to get some crit chance into his build immediately. But in the end, Liyab, a nice play coming out from this Twisted Fate that we want to see roaming.
Yeah, this Aphelios, as you mentioned, very, very starved for gold, starved because he's behind on the rotation every time. Down in CS right now, but who isn't down in CS is Rex on this trademark TF. His signature champ at this point, just holding his own and getting the favorable rotations down here into the bot lane. You see the arrow forcing out the cleanse, it means it's a free gold card, and it means it's a free fight pickup from the side of Liyab.
I like what we're starting to see here, too. The fact that, you know, Kanji was able to get himself, you know, self-sufficient on this Aatrox has unlocked Doi from the top side of the map. He's making impact toward that bot lane, trying to get Dawn ahead, now sitting on 5 assists on this Ashe, has his board completed. And we get to see Rex looking to make teleports with that Destiny pretty much off cooldown, and Chen 9 actually not even able to respond here. We didn't even see a Galio ultimate come in to try and turn around that fight.
Yeah, subbing out one carry player and then forcing the other into this more utility-centric role. It feels like Alpha have thrown away the immediate success that they were finding in exchange for, again, just adding to the kind of dynamic. Very similar to Liyab in that regard, where they're sacrificing maybe, as we said, immediate success, not necessarily the rest of the split, but giving a lot in exchange for some late-game scaling in terms of team synergy.
And hey, I'll give it to World 6. He's farming up a Storm, but of course he is a Graves into a Trundle matchup. We expect this from him, and sure, he has all the kills, but if he's not able to get into the fights immediately, like we saw toward that bot lane, was just a little bit late to the party, it doesn't matter. They're usually over before they can actually turn anything around. Doi, gotta be careful of yourself. You don't want to, you know, cast a curse this one for you, bud, as he'll be able to get himself back to safety into the jungle.
Yeah, Alpha now just trying to establish dominance around this second Herald pit. Didn't really see too much usage out of that initial Herald play, but hey, it's something. Well, actually didn't see much of it at all, considering I believe every turret on Liyab is full health.
All right,
Wherever it was popped, it was not for great gain.
I'm interested now. Is this going to be a contest coming out from Liyab? You do see Rex pathing on over toward the side, looking to cycle into his gold card as he's waiting to pick it up. There it is. Your son goes for the engage. Going to get stunned up immediately. Hero's entrance going to come on down. Used mainly to zone back, as in the end it will get secured on the side of Alpha. But guess what? Liyab are looking to turn this fight, but in comes Call of the Forge God. Not able to find his target. Kanji, does he go over the wall? Does he want to chase? Destiny popped by Rex, just mainly trying to scout out where Alpha is. And Liyab, they're able to actually prevent the Rift Herald from being taken.
Yeah, Liyab, they force back this Alpha squad, and they get a good amount of siege down into the mid lane as a result of it. TF ult to zone everybody out, Rex just pushing in the waves as well. Good rotations, good confident play coming through from Liyab, who initially seemed a little bit behind on that decision. They salvage it entirely and make a convincing case for heading into a very, very good state of this mid-game.
And now I kind of have to ask, Liyab have some kind of confident decision-making coming back. This is kind of looking a little bit closer to what we saw during the Resurgence game, and we call Alpha kind of the coin flip team back in spring. Well, it seems like Liyab, we're starting to see their side of a coin flip where they're able to find success. Kanji, don't make me eat my own words here. Chen9's looking for a play. Going to pop that World Ender, actually. And Kanji, not afraid to actually maybe step up into the fight, as the rest of Liyab are nearby. Is only a Trundle and a Thresh, though.
Yeah, this is what we wanted to see from the Liyab composition. Aatrox in a side lane, TF in mid or another side lane, and then this rotating unit of the rest.
Mocha has to use that stopwatch. He will get bursted down immediately, and Liyab, knowing they should cut their losses, do just that, as they'll get themselves back on over to safety, and Alpha are able to secure themselves a dragon.
Yeah, giving up that Drake because of a disadvantageous pick that they found themselves giving away. Liyab, good discipline there to minimize their losses, but pretty shaky for them to find themselves in that position to begin with. You should never lose a fight when the Galio ult is on CD. The champion's power is tied around that ultimate in particular, to the point where if it's up, his team have like a big chance of winning a fight, basically.
A good percentage, more than one.
Yeah,
more than one. That's what I can take away from that one. But
fantastic.
Yeah, and we kind of get to see Liyab when they're a little bit scattered to the wind, too. It looked like Rex wanted to try and get more pressure in mid lane before they wanted to go for the contest. Dawn was on the other side of the wall. It wasn't the best setup for Liyab. You do have to take away, though, the fact that they didn't try and salvage that situation. Instead, they say, you know what, Mocha, you got caught out. We're going to sacrifice you. It's not the end of the world.
Here, Opal. Standard team fight, 50-50 for each team. Team fight with Galio ult, 60-40. Team fight without Galio ult, 40-60. There you go.
There you go.
That is the ratio, and that is why it's super surprising that Liyab actually lost that one, but does also kind of lend a lot of strength to the fact that Alpha do have that 5v5 and do love fighting in these choke points.
There you go. In comes the hero's entrance. There is the arrow coming out immediately onto Wei Lun, but Rex unfortunately can't do a whole lot here, as Kanji ended up using his teleport to actually go down to bot lane, so he can't actually contest any of these fights.
Yeah, you need to start finding picks if you're Liyab. Stop opting into these skirmishes. Rather just look for a Thresh Hook, look for an Ash Arrow, look for a Gold Card, look for a Pillar. Some of these like long-range engage tools that can just take Alpha by surprise.
You even see there World 6. Not afraid to just step up into the fray of the jungle, and Rex, you gotta be careful here, as Chen9 does have Flash available, as well as the Ignite. World 6 is maybe looking for a play. Doi, though, is nearby, and the Hawk Shot able to spot out the Graves.
Yeah, Rex does have Stopwatch. No mana, though, so could be in a pretty precarious position. This tower's dropping.
Ooh, Doi, though, with a nice flash, as that's going to allow him to survive, as well as keep the turret alive. Rex getting a little bit comfortable here. Mocha is also nearby, might be looking for a hook himself over the wall. Is going to land, though, on over to World 6. Dawn does not have his ultimate, though, to combo that up, and looks like Liyab are going to make the call to try and prevent that from going on through.
Yeah, fighting the Aphelios in a choke point, fighting the Graves in the choke point, not necessarily the greatest of ideas. So again, good discipline by Liyab, minimalizing their losses, essentially giving Trundle Flash in exchange for some farm time for the Aatrox. Here's the Thresh hook that we wanted to see. Unfortunately, it's onto Nautilus, and that does mean Galio's going to follow, and a lot of chase potential coming through from the Alpha lineup.
We'll see here, that's going to be Rex actually teleporting in. Of course, is
How many bot lane TPs do you want?
Apparently all of them. We still have yet to actually lose our first tower of the game, by the way, Briz, as the last time these two teams met, the game was over now at 21:52. I believe that was the time they actually finished. Now we have yet to even have the first tower get cracked out of both of these squads, which I don't know if that is growth from one team and a failure from Alpha after dominating, or you know what? It's just a completely different game, and we're seeing a new style come out with the fact that World 6 has been added to the equation.
Yeah, completely different game, completely different style, completely different jungler. The player dynamic shifting so much with the introduction of a more supportive, utility-focused, farm-centric kind of playstyle rather than the gank-heavy kind of one, really has made us see Alpha in a new light. That being said, 4 kills, 6 total kill contributions out of a total 7 at the 22-minute mark. It's not Alpha, but it is still somewhat explosive relative to the rest of the region.
Oh, and you can tell Wei Lun wants to try and explode some of these health bars on Liyab, as he again has gone for the double cloak rush after finishing off his Infinity Edge. He really likes his cloaks, all right? I'm interested. This is now putting a lot more pressure onto this Aphelios to have to carry into the later game fights. You have a big, juicy front line on the front side of Alpha that's going to be looking to try and keep him safe. We did see earlier on that he hasn't had to make any massive plays just yet. Hook is going to land into the arrow. Maybe not the target you're looking for, but in goes Kanji. Bouncy Castle. Unfortunately, he gets taken down immediately as Rex is too late to the party. And the shutdown onto Aphelios. And that is not the fight you wanted to take if you're on the side of Liyab, as Hook almost catches out Rex. And that's going to be first brick tower being also injected onto Wei Lun.
Yeah, the issue with Liyab's pick comp is that who do you target? Maybe the Aphelios, maybe the Graves, but Galio or Nautilus, all more than happy to soak all of that up. Liyab, they find their pick, not onto the right target, and they lose the fight accordingly.
And unfortunately, we mentioned around most cases for Liyab, it's a 15-20 minute fight when things get blown out of proportion. Well, unfortunately, using a lot of resources just to catch out a Galio that doesn't even lose half his health before he goes for an engage.
Yeah, stopwatch to boot, really adding salt to the wound. Had he even dropped just a little bit lower, still would have been safe because of that hourglass. Really, just mixed communication from Liyab there. Hard commit onto a target you really shouldn't be fishing for at this stage of the game.
Now we get to see the Rex special, as it were, as he has decided to go into his side lanes to try and get what gold he can, inject it back onto his Twisted Fate. Does have the completed Roa, as well as the Lich Bane. And now looking to pick up his Rapid Fire Cannon, just to have some extra distance when it comes to his gold cards. But this is kind of the situation we have seen where Liyab, where sometimes we just don't see Rex join in on fights, and when he does, it's a little bit too late.
Yeah, and another recurring trend from Liyab is that the rest of the map kind of folds, kind of has all this action, while Dawn just puts up a consistent KDA somewhere. Just finding farm, finding assists, you know, that kind of thing. Granted, he has spent most of his time on Ashe. Here's a pick!
And he does get the flash away, though, from the dredge line from your son, as Mocha was able to go ahead and find a hook himself. Meanwhile, top lane, Rex starting to do some decent damage here. He's got to be careful, though. Chen 9 at any point could go for an engage just like that. Gets the knock up into the taunt, forcing out the cleanse. Your son going for the dive. Even in the stopwatch, that tower gets taken down. Rex can't avoid the collateral damage as World 6 finds himself his 5th kill of the game.
Yeah, this APTF scaling up, but it's too little too late at this point. Liyab, they lose their mid laner, they lose their side lane pressure, and suddenly they're being forced to group with the Aatrox to try and stop a potential Baron take.
And there you go. Alpha now on to the Baron, as it's going to force Liyab to have to make a tough decision here. Doi is alive, but he is down the 2 levels. Hook is going to come in onto Mocha. He gets caught out. Unfortunately, Pillar is going to be used, trying to slow him down. Able to get himself to safety, but Wei Lun ends up sealing his fate with the Moonlight Vigil. It does prevent the Baron from being taken on the side of Alpha, but maybe only delaying it as they turn back toward the pit.
Yeah, Doi is alive though, and you do have Rex potentially able to swap out a spell for Smite if need be. That being said though, the pit is a long ways away, and you're going to need this Hawk Shot to A, feed information, and B, set up for a potential flank from Kanji.
You do see though, Destiny is going to be popped. You also have Kanji over toward the side. There goes your arrow, ends up missing all the way through though, and that's one you're going to want back, but all right, Call the Forge God isn't much better as Bush tries to jump on in. Rex, though, he gets isolated toward the side. No reason for him to be that far forward. Wei Lun wants to try and jump in. Kanji onto the back line, gets the shutdown into the stopwatch to avoid the double ultimate. Gets taunted up once again. The lifesteal is there. Dawn is untouched, wants to turn this back. Doi on the front as well. Mocha with the hook onto that Ornn, and a nice play back. World 6, though, able to find back 2 kills. Dawn gets the shutdown. Hook lands immediately back. World 6 maybe a little bit too close to the party. Bush gets the knock-up. Mocha's not afraid, though, to keep scrapping, and Dawn finds himself an assist with Mocha securing the kill.
Granted, Bush did soak damage for days there, but Liyab, they come out ahead because Alpha overcommit to the fight. World 6, he hobbles away, he limps out, but he gets out with his life. This Graves is huge. Alpha, they throw away the fight through overcommitment, and Liyab did a remarkable job at stopping this Baron take.
And we're starting to see these rookies, this fresh talent come out of Liyab and start to shine with Kanji and Dawn stepping up when they need to, especially when you look back toward the skirmish where Rex gets completely caught out.
Yeah, Wei Lun flashing forward was about as suspect as that TF positioning. Just the carries on both sides, little suspect in some of these movements. Like look at Rex here. Look at Rex here.
We don't get to look at Rex.
Bam.
As there you go, mid lane, they're able to take down your San with 20 seconds actually now onto the Dragon, looking to actually secure this and prevent Infernal Soul from going on over to Alpha.
Yeah, back and forth so far this game, and World 6 is like, what have I signed up for? What am I doing here? I am 8-2-4, and somehow we're still losing these skirmishes. As you said, Infernal Drake coming up, that Soul really appealing for Alpha, but they can't touch it now that their support got randomly caught in the mid lane.
Do note, though, the items that are starting to get into the inventories of Alpha. You have the double upgrade for now Bush. We're going to also likely see a Rabadon's upgrade for Gen 9. I'm going to guess that's what they're going for, considering he actually finished it, as well as that Molten Edge now online for Wei Lun. So there is some spikes still trying to pour in here on the side of Alpha.
I like that Wei Lun has the QSS, as if the CC was the reason he died previously there. No, it was because he flashed into the Aatrox to try and last hit, I think it was like Trundle or something. And, well, Alpha, doesn't matter that it didn't work out the last time, gonna pull the trigger on a Baron anyway.
All right, let's see. Rex ended up using the Destiny already. It's now down to 7,000 health. We'll see what Liyab try and do. Doi gets caught out toward the side, able to pop his ultimate. He's going to get knocked around all over the place. And Liyab have to back up their jungler. Sure, Kanji is just waddling into the fight. He had teleport for this, wanted to save it. Does Bush get caught out himself, as that's going to be Hero's entrance into the hook? Dawn is able to get the damage. Sure, you're able to get the Baron, but now on the side of Liyab, they can look to turn it around. Dawn needs to step up, but he can't, and Kanji ends up losing his life. Rex wants to try and clean up kills, has himself a gold card. Does he actually get World 6 in this situation? Does connect. Wild card comes out into a hook, gets interrupted though by Mocha. Teleport's going to be over toward the side. Wei Lun wants to rejoin the party, and Liyab, they are too slow to pull the trigger on these fights, as both of them are going to die outside the Baron pit.
Liyab get taken down one by one. You see them desperately fishing for a fight after the Baron does go down, after the health bars get chunked out from Alpha, but it's not enough. You see Doi dying at the start of this, Kanji furiously trying to navigate his way up through this river. Bush doesn't die. I don't think the Ashe has LDR yet, so he's just shrugging off the auto attacks. This Ornn is massive. Galio is massive. Everyone in Alpha just laughing in the face of Liyab here.
And unfortunately, we've seen now the CC be used onto targets like the Galio, like Bush, but oh my lord, it doesn't stop, and Bush has to go in stasis because somehow Liyab are winning another fight. Dawn is on a rampage. Kanji gets himself again the reset. Meanwhile, though, turret will be taken. In comes the arrow, and it lands on target. Rex with the destiny, and there should be the CC chain following on through as they find the slow, and Liyab are somehow able to once again find the picks on Alpha.
Alpha, they get a little bit overconfident there, and they get punished for it. World 6 now,
World
pretty
6.
big.
Oh my god, you can blow up these carries instantly. Mocha wants to rejoin onto the fight. And World 6, he has put Alpha on his back and wishes to carry them. Rex, though, flashing on forward. Gold card is going to connect. They can't finish off the Graves just yet. Doi whacking away on your son at the moment. Another gold card comes out from Rex, and the action, the party, don't stop.
Yeah, that rapid fire cannon gold card come up huge time and time again, but not really doing enough to cement this game as a surefire Liyab win. They find picks, left, right, center, all is good, but all is not enough for them to really steamroll these 5v5s. Look, Waylon is dead at the start of that, and yet it's still close.
Like, this is the issue here right now is it's just chaos. This is more chaos than I think we've ever seen from Alpha at this point. And it's Liyab, they're like, all right, you know what? We ain't going down without a fight. A beautiful arrow coming out from Dawn to help set up another kill. I think, though, they did learn their lesson that maybe World 6 is just a little bit fed on this Graves as he's able to instantly destroy Dawn once he steps too close.
Yeah, quick Q into the wall for the immediate bounce back, plus the big collateral damage. A lot of front-loaded burst from the Graves at this point. Really, really clean decision-making coming through from this new jungler. Yeah, you said it yourself, by the way. He's putting Q on his back. He's being the carry, even though we weren't promised the carry. We were promised a utility jungler that would just bridge the gap between early and the mid. Nice.
That is style. All right, right there. As Infernal Drake is going to spawn in about 30 seconds, you have to respect, all right, Chen 9. It's a Galio. He's already picked up the Magi's. We saw what happened with the Magi's, the Galio earlier on the day. There's your
arrow.
Oh, nice, actually, to get the cleanse out of Waylon immediately. Hero's entrance comes on down. Your son doesn't get taken on down. Finally, Will. Rex, though, gets obliterated by Waylon, who has now actually come online on this Aphelios, and you need the CC to connect onto the main carry of Alpha.
Yeah, just threading the needle on the hook, threading the gold card through, but it's not enough and the fight's continuing.
Mocha, though, gets himself to safety with the flash, but now Alpha able to steal away the right buff. Kanji can't really walk up to them in this fight anymore. He's now hit the point where both World 6 and Waylon will be able to instantly blow them up. Infernal Soul now in favor of Alpha here at 35 minutes.
Yeah, Doi actually having to flash out of that fight to remain intact does mean that he will have no way of crossing this Drake Pit wall, and he will have no way of contesting this soul. Elder Dragon going to be a very legitimate win condition for Alpha here. Maybe enough for them to wrap up some of these more close team fights. I like the hook. The hook was nice. The arrow was fine. Unfortunately, you're hard focusing Nautilus, who is indeed Nautilus.
And you did see there, Rex was able to get a gold card onto the Aphelios, but Cleanse as well as Crucible, I think, also completed on the side of, well, that's QSS actually, as well as a Cleanse for Waylon when it's off cooldown. It's hard to kill this Aphelios. It's really hard to kill this Aphelios at the moment, as well as now the damage that's going to pour in is, it really comes down to whether or not Rex and Dawn can avoid getting caught out during these fights with Liyab.
Finally upgraded Crit Cloak number 3 for that Aphelios Phantom Dancer, as you mentioned, just even more difficult to kill than before. And when your Graves is this fed, there's no burden, there's no soul carry kind of focus onto Waylon. Has the luxury of playing however he wants in terms of build and in terms of positioning, compared to some of the earlier AD carries we'd seen today.
And you get to see that gold graph. It was a lot closer last time we checked in, around 15 minutes. Unfortunately now, you could say the cliff has started to show itself, and now Liyab have to find a ladder to try and get themselves back in, as Rex is going to do what he can to try and apply pressure onto a side lane. As Baron now available for Alpha if they wish to try and get some pressure onto it himself, but Rex not slowing down here with the split push.
Look at the score lines of everyone at Alpha and just acknowledge that Bush is here for the ride. Weak side top laner through and through, doing his own thing, picking up a couple of assists here and there, but right now this team is living and dying by World 6, while Liyab, Rex is doing his thing.
Rex doing the classic here as he's going to start pushing in onto the inhibitor tower, and Alpha's going to just let this happen as Liyab...
Still.
Okay, there you go. Rex does have teleport. He can join in on this fight. Bush will to himself, but if he gets too close, there is a gold card that will stop him from going. Inhibitor is taken for Liyab. Have they decided to say, all right, you know what? We lose out on this Baron. We at least get super minions for the next 5 minutes. Is that the play? Are they going to be able to at least try and trade anything back here? Hook not going to land onto Doidoi. Is the call going to be made by Rex to try and join in? Rex, unfortunately, still being hassled here. That was ghost pot by Chen9. Mocha able to just scoot away. That's not going to be the case, though, himself. Dawn able to get himself a nice arrow flash on forward. Gets cooked out, even with the flash. And there's your damage finally raining in on the side of Alpha. And Liyab, they should have just ran to their base. Unfortunately, though, teleport is going to cut them off. Kanji has nowhere to run. Doidoi will get caught out at some point, and it is just prolonging the inevitable as Kanji flashes on over the wall. Okay, maybe they try and turn back a fight here, but no, he gets knocked up by the call of the Fort God. Doidoi will escape with his life. Alpha, though, in firm grasp as Rex is still going for the base.
If you hesitate on any kind of macro decision, the TF is gonna go for the backdoor, is gonna go for the inhib, but Alpha, they're having none of it.
And there you go, solid push is gonna come on through. They also shut down Rex, and there you go. That is your nail in the coffin here, as unfortunately Doidoi, he is only a poor trundle, and though it was not a 21-minute stomp, in the end, Alpha with a new face, new jungle, new talent. It's World 6 making his PCS debut. It's the ace for Alpha Esports, and it's the victory over Liyab.
World 6 legendary at the end of that as well, really hammering home just how great a performance this jungler made in his debut under the Alpha banner.
And you know, for Liyab, the one thing to take away was actually it was a closer game. You give it that. It was a much closer game than what we saw up against Alpha back in week 4. Come now week 5. Looks like they've been able to fix up some of their mistakes, but you kind of have to wonder if you contribute that to, you know, Alpha playing very messy in this early game that allowed, you know, Kanji to find multiple kills and allowed him to actually get ahead in his lane, or are they actually improving themselves?
Yeah, definitely was pleasantly surprised with Kanji. As well as that, just World 6, really promising performance here. The issue is, what are we getting from him so far that we weren't getting from your River, besides Chen9 maybe now willing to expand his horizons into utility picks? But then again, I wasn't necessarily sold on Chen9's Galio anyway.
Yeah, well, I had some good ultimates, but like, that they were expected ultimates, and even then there were some that were a little bit late to the party and Liyab were able to avoid. I think Liyab, though, need a different, we need to see them play the simple compositions, Riz. We've talked to them multiple times. They said, oh, we want to try these new compositions, get that growth, get that experience. Well, you got to start finding victories, because you need to set expectations that you can maybe make it into playoffs and not rely on whether or not your team's going to actually succeed in some of these compositions. It just drives me crazy.
I didn't notice in the fight before, but Bush actually missed everything there, which is kind of tragic. But hey, it happens. Sometimes you face that as the Ornn. And yeah, Alpha, they outlast this fight, they turn it around, and it almost looks like they can turn it around again, but they greed for it. Total bloodbath on both sides here. and then they even recommit to try and pick off Dawn here, but World 6 can't do enough damage because he's one volley away from dead, and Bush just gets taken down.
And I'll be frank too, like, a quick shout out. No. I disagree with our production in Taipei.
Same.
No. If they give this to Wei Lun just so they could do an interview with him, no. World 6 was just robbed on his debut. Hello? Excuse me? What?
I'm
That's all.
eager to hear what Wei Lun will say in said post-game interview, especially when it comes down to how they're integrating the new jungler in here, because that was just dominance from World 6. Yeah, the fact you're upset about it, and I'm secretly seething as well. Oh, man.
No, take that away. All right. That was a World 6. That's World 6's MVP in my heart. All right, I'm having a long conversation with the production over in Taipei on that one. All right, I don't know about that one, but yeah. All right, Wei Lun gets the MVP on the Aphelios. I felt like it was lackluster until he got 4 items, which he is going to be, of course, good. But let's go ahead though and take an interview with your son, the support of Alpha, alongside
大
Patty.
家好，我是阿尔法的辅助 Eurosen 王胜佑。
OK， 那当然你们换上了来自 LPL 的全新打野选手 World 6嘛，这场他表现也蛮不错的。你们已经准备好已有他的阵容去面对季后赛了吗？
So you guys have your new LPL new member jungler World 6 today in your jungler position from LPL. So are you guys ready to get yourself into playoffs with your new jungler? Because he's been doing pretty well in that game.
就是已经准备好，然后也磨合的有2-3个礼拜这样子，然后也觉得就是沃德六这个选手就是非常厉害，对，因为之前是 ONG 的打野嘛，对，然后就是已经磨合的很好，对。
So he's originally from OMG, he's jungler on OMG, and he's a really good jungler. And we've been practicing together for about 2 to 3 weeks, so it's been pretty good, and I think we're ready to get ourselves into playoffs.
好，那第二题想要问佑神，就是因为目前来说，你们的中路跟打野其实都不是在台北跟你们一起团练的嘛？那在这个应该说在团练上，你们是怎么克服这样可能有远距离的问题呢？
So your mid laner and your jungler are both not in Taipei with you to practice together. So how do you guys solve those communication issues?
就是我们打完的时候，因为说是分隔2地嘛，对，所以我们就是上路跟我们的下路线，然后跟他们内地的中野，就是我们会在网络上看同一个画面，然后来检讨，然后就是以这个方式来，就是让大家不管是团练的部分还是沟通的部分，都可以在上面这样讲。
So we use online media and messengers to talk and practice together. And after our games, we would do feedback, all those stuff online.
OK， 那当然也恭喜你们拿下了胜利，当然也感谢翻译的 Patty， 也谢谢你接受我们的采访。我觉得佑神感觉他很像那种。
All right, well, there you hear it. Yeah, he used to play for OMG. Great jungle. We've only been playing for 3 weeks, but hey, that's the aggression we need and enough to pick him up, I guess, for the team and head in toward playoffs.
Yeah, and honestly, when you're picking up a new player for aggression, but you have your River as your starter, eyebrow raiser. But at the same time, it worked out. Yeah, couldn't be happy with that first game for the debut of World 6.
Well, congratulations on over to Alpha. We, though, are going to go ahead and take a short break. When we come back, it's going to be us heading into our 4th game of the night. It's going to be HQ taking on Nova.
CTBC Bank is Taiwan's top financial institution, but we're not stopping there. We're crafting an international brand and already have over 260 outlets in 14 countries. We are by your side, ready to embrace the future.